you're watching Spurs Rewind. I'm Vickie Villarreal, and joining me here today is Rocky Garza Jr. How are you doing, Rocky?
Good, good. I mean, just trying to, enjoy the nice cool weather outside. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. I'm doing well. And yeah, it's supposed to get cooler tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. So since we last talked, it's
Yeah.
definitely been a week for the Spurs.
hmm
They've gone 0-5 since last show, which is, I think you can agree, more in line with what we were expecting for this season to look like. But I still wanted to get an idea of what you think has changed since they went on that early sort of winning spurt. What's changed lately? Why are we seeing so many losses? And also, do you see them winning anytime soon?
Yeah, when they start out the season, usually you see with every team, they start out hot. Some teams are just trying to mesh together. But I think the thing that changed was just the talent level. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
the Spurs were playing talented teams, but some of those teams had newer players, or they were just coming up with, different lineups, trying different things. But then eventually, talent outbeats, production. But the Spurs have been really beating themselves. They've been in these matchups, but they're young. When you're young, you make a lot of mistakes, and in the second half, you see them blow these leads, or they
Yeah.
catch up and put in a lot of effort, but then they get these crucial turnovers that just really gets them. So I expected that
Yeah.
eventually, for it to even out, because you look at the Spurs, they're more of a middle of the pack team, kind of more near the bottom. But I mean, they're putting effort out, and that's what all matters.
Right, exactly. I agree. I think kind of the same thing. Nobody really knew exactly what to expect, like with the Timberwolves. When you look at them on paper, it looks like they should be pretty good stacked
Mhm.
team with the talent that they've got, but for some reason, like it never seems to work for them. It's not working. So yeah, I think seeing them do well against the Timberwolves early was like, whoa, but then, I mean, it's
I
kind
feel
of
that.
tapered off and it's a little more in line with I think right now they're going through a little bit of an even more rough patch than they
Mhm.
will look like once everyone's healthy because they're going through, the Collins injury and also they've been playing some really good teams and hanging
Mhm.
in there, even if they're not resulting in wins. Games like the loss against the Grizzlies, that's good experience for them,
Most
something that they're
definitely.
going to take into the future for a lot of these young guys. So yeah, so in terms of some of the good stuff that's happening, I want to talk a little bit about Jeremy Sochan. He's averaging 6.9 points, which is what it's okay. And honestly, the big impressive stuff is happening on defense. What are some of the things that have stood out to you about his performance so far?
Yeah, you hit the head on the nail. Defense. His defense is really stellar this year. I'm not saying he's gonna be all defensive first team, or be the defensive player of the year, but he's a really defensive menace. Coming in, some
Right.
people expected him to score, but you're not getting that with a Jeremy Sohan in his first year. Maybe he scores more double digits down the road, but he was coming here, to do the dirty work. At the beginning of the season, Pop, said he was Dennis Rodman light. Some people took a little bit of offense to that, but I mean, he's just really doing the dirty work. Getting rebounds,
Exactly.
getting those steals, and just really defending the 1 through the 5. I mean, last night you saw it in that Grizzlies game near the end. Jeremy Sohan got a crucial steal, and they were only down by one. And he's
That
just
was
that
crazy.
guy, and he's able to switch on it. He's only gonna get better, so I'm not really worried about Sohan. He's actually one of my favorite players. And we'll talk
Same.
a little bit, about the jerseys later. But I saw his jersey, the one that came out today, and I was like, man, I really want one of
You're
those.
gonna get that one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely.
totally. No, I'm a fan too. He's been awesome. I know that in the preseason there was a lot of heat kind of being thrown his way, and nobody can really judge based off the preseason, but
Mhm.
he's definitely showed up in a lot of these early games. Defensively, he's there. He's doing things that I think you don't see guys doing early on in their career.
Mhm.
I love the fact that he is playing with the Spurs. I know, there are pros and cons to like the Austin Spurs route, but I think he's getting so much more experience at an accelerated pace right now
Exactly.
because he's playing with the A team and he's hanging in there. And like you said, that one play yesterday just blew my mind. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe he, did this monstrous dunk, then gets a steal midair and does another crazy dunk. It was
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
beautiful.
crazy.
I loved it. Yeah, exactly. So, you kind of touched on this already, but I want to get into it a little more. the Spurs City Edition jerseys came out today,
Hmm.
and I think they're beautiful. I think you agree. But what are your thoughts? What did you think when you first saw them?
No, I love them. I like the video, little intro, the little tease that they did, and how Keldon is. But I think the
Yes.
funniest thing was the little promo. I don't know if you saw with Wink Leslie,
Yes.
where he
Yes.
was like, "Hey, the jerseys came out. Can I show them now?" And Keldon's like, "Yeah." That was the
Yeah.
funniest thing, and like I think the Spurs
That
communication
was so
PR
cute.
team deserves a round of applause. For getting a moment
Definitely.
of a rookie's bonehead mistake of showing the
Yes.
jerseys and just making a funny light of it. That was the
Yes.
funniest thing I saw today.
Oh
But
my gosh, same.
yeah,
Same.
it was they're really nice, and I saw I think I saw Matthew Tryon put a picture of how it was a homage to the 1996 jersey, and I replied to him. I go, man, I
Yes.
have that jersey. I got it from Wonderland Mall. I got a knockoff.
No.
Yeah, I got it for
I
25
want one
bucks.
of those. Those
Yeah,
are
I
the
got one.
best.
So I have to show you on next show, but I
Yes.
think it's a little bit tight on me because I have gained a little few pounds from 4 years ago, but I guess
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be my
Who's
goal
on
to
it?
slim
Whose
down.
name?
Huh?
Whose name is it?
My name. It's on the back. It's
Oh,
a custom one.
cool.
Yeah. But
Oh.
yeah, like, whoever's listening and been to Wonderland Mall, you know how sketch it is there now. It's like the place I got is the most sketch place. Like you just go in, it's a deserted mall, and it's like a
That's
random
hilarious.
shop, and I found it, and I was like, all right, that's cool.
Oh, that's so cool. I really want one. I think like my husband and I were kind of talking about this after the release. He said something that was really cool. Like you don't see many all-star jerseys just
Hmm.
worn by everyone, you know? And this one is definitely popular. Like we were traveling last couple weeks ago and we went to a store in New York City and they had tons of that jersey, the 1996 All-Star jersey. And I think it's genius for the Spurs to like own that. You know, that was
Hmm.
their year hosting All-Star break or All-Star weekend. And I just love it. I really do love it. I love what they did with the intro, all of that. The only complaint I have is this business of like trilogy and ending it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm a little upset with that. I'm hoping it's just kind of like a little like tease
Hmm.
of like, you know, we'll get it before we don't do this anymore. But I just don't see how they can get rid of the Fiesta colorway going forward.
Mm-mm.
It's just everyone loves it. Like this is what the fans have been asking for. They want it. And
Hmm.
not only fans love this, it's like non-fans would buy this jersey because
Oh
it's
yeah.
hip and it's cool. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. Who are you gonna get?
Shohan, man. It's either Shohan or
You are?
Keldon. Those are my
Yes.
those are my
I'm
two
getting
favorite
Keldon.
players because they're just goofballs, man. They're just normal
They're
guys, and
awesome.
they just feed off the energy. I
Yes.
love them.
Me too. Me too. I'm getting Keldon or Vassell. Not sure yet, but leaning towards Keldon just because, you know, he's kind of our guy right now. So
Yeah.
so yeah, but you kind of touched on this, which I kind of want to circle back to. Spurs PR. They're doing a great job. Great job with this 50th anniversary stuff.
Hmm.
And as part of that, they're releasing the 50 episodes of that docu-series called The Ring of the Rowel. The first episode documented the 1999 championship and was released a couple days ago, I think.
Hmm.
So, did you get a chance to watch that? And what did you think?
I did get a chance, and it's honestly really like cool to watch it because I was 3. I mean, I'm 3 years old. I don't know the Spurs anything. I don't know. I'm just so young. The only thing I was worrying about is whether I can get ice cream or candy. I'm not,
Right.
I was probably a Spurs fan and dressed in Spurs gear, but my parents they
Oh,
just did that to me. But it
yeah.
was really not nostalgia for me because like seeing them play in the Alamo Dome, it's like wow, like I felt the atmosphere, like I felt I was
Yes.
there. How they did the first
Yay.
episode, and it's only 20 minutes, and I'm like left on a cliffhanger, like what's going to be the next thing?
I know.
But it was
I
just
know.
cool to see, each player talk because we grew up watching
Yes.
those players, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, Tim,
Mhm.
Pop went in, Malik Rose, and like I think the coolest thing that stood out to me was when the miracle Memorial Day miracle when Sean went to them was like
Yes.
I have one more in me and he hits it. I'm like,
Yes.
how awesome is that?
Yeah.
Just to be that confident, like, hey, I have one more in me, I'm gonna hit it, and like that is
Yes.
like a big like what's up man, like I'm here, like I
Yeah.
was like oh my god, I
Here
was like
for
this
it.
guy's for real. But it was awesome.
For
I a
real.
little bit teared up, but it was cool. How about
Me
you?
too. Same. I teared up. I got pretty emotional. I was older than you, but I was still really little when the Spurs won in '99. So I was not, I was I was really young, so I was not really understanding everything that was happening, but I
Mhm.
remember the playoffs a lot. And I remember the Memorial Day Miracle. I remember watching it. It was like that sort of solidified in me my Spurs fandom as a kid. And I remember, yeah, being obsessed with those guys, getting the shirt. I was crying watching it because I was like, I want this to happen again.
Me
um,
too.
yeah, but it really took me back, and great job with it. Yeah,
Mhm.
kudos Spurs PR. That was amazing. They even had Woj, like, give a little quote here. I mean, it was great. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, go check it out. It was awesome.
Honest,
Um,
and if I may add something before we shift topics, I saw Luby's was a
yeah.
sponsor at the Alamo Dome. I was like, Luby's? I was like, I love Luby's, and I bet you Joe would attest that he loves Luby's too. I
Yes,
know Joe likes
probably so.
Luby's, and people hate on Luby's. I don't know
I
why.
like Luby's. I
Luby's is
like
so
Luby's.
good.
Their mac and cheese. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
yes.
yes. Oh, but yes, I can't wait to see what they're going to put out next.
Hmm.
We'll keep an eye out and definitely talk about it next time. But it was awesome. It was nice to relive those moments and see it again. I didn't know that they started that season off so terribly,
Oh, I
because
didn't
like I
either.
said, I kind of just knew once we were in the playoffs, I knew the Spurs were, good and hopefully going to win. But I remember, like, photographic memory wise, like, yeah, I remember seeing things happen, and now it was awesome to relive that. Um, but anyway, as we start to wrap things up, do you have any final thoughts you want to share with today?
No, I mean, I think the biggest one is just I'm really proud of how the Spurs are battling in each game, and I'm sure you are, and a
Yeah.
lot of fans are. I know some fans are like, "Yeah, we're losing games." I'm like, "That's cool or whatever," but you
Yeah.
see it in the guys, and like Vassell even said last night, like they're not trying to lose, like they're growing and they're staying and keeping their heads high, and they're growing with each other. And Keldon even said it
Yes.
last night too. He's like, "The Spurs are seeing us at the tip of the iceberg, and we're going to be scary good." And that gives me hope because I know people don't have hope right now, but that gives me hope down
Right.
the road Spurs are going to return to their dominance. It was
Same.
bound to happen. The Spurs would go through some seasons like this
Yeah.
because not everything lasts forever. I mean, unless you just try to buy players, but who wants to come to San Antonio
Right.
as a player? You want to go to
Right.
LA, New York, blah blah blah. But I'm having
Exactly.
very hopeful, and this is why I enjoyed and wanted this season like this. I know people are like, "Well, they're losing." I'm like, "Well, it's young guys. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like if it's kind of our like I guess demographic, our age group, it's like we're growing with them. We're going through another generation. That's cool to
Yeah.
me. What about you?
Exactly. Same thing. I like seeing them try as hard as they're trying. Last night I was, getting into the game as they're
Hmm.
as they, they're making it to overtime, and then they go into overtime, and then I was just like, okay, it's done. And then they fought back and they're back in it again. They had two chances to win, and as opposed to being upset that they didn't win, that's a really good accomplishment.
Exactly.
And Vassell looked disappointed he didn't make that shot at the end, but at the same time, you can tell that he was kind of resolved. I think they knew they were playing a really talented team,
Hmm.
and they played well against them. They can stack up against some of those teams, even shorthanded, and even with this uncertainty of what's happening with them. They're doing well. They're trying super hard. And yeah, they've got grit, like more than I've seen in any of the previous years since the whole Kawhi debacle. I think this team has
Hmm.
the most fight in them. And in a couple years, if they can keep this core group together, I think they could be really good.
I agree completely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me again, Rocky.
Of
Thank you
course.
all for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at the Vickie Vix, which is TheVickieVix, and Rocky at ROCKSSJR. Once again, you can also check out projectspurs.com for the latest up-to-date news. So for myself and for Rocky Garza Jr., we'll see you next time on Spurs Rewind.
Peace.